the chair of the House Democratic Caucus. Congressman, thank you very much for being with us. You voted to condemn the president for his tweet over the weekend, his racist tweet where he told Ilhan Omar and 3 other members to go back to the countries they came from. All 4 of them are American citizens. So that chant last night at the campaign rally, when the crowd was chanting, "Send her back," was that racist?
Well, listen, the president's words are dangerous. The president's words are destructive. The president's words are divisive. And the American people deserve better from the individual who has the responsibility of trying to bring everyone together. But he continues to peddle hatred and xenophobia and use racist tropes like the one that he has consistently directed at those 4 congresswomen of color, and that's unfortunate, and that's where we should keep the focus. We've done what we needed to do. We have denounced him in the clearest possible terms, and now we, as House Democrats, are continuing to do the business of the American people, to work on kitchen table pocketbook issues. Later on today, we are going to pass the Raise the Wage Act, because the American people deserve a raise. There hasn't been an increase in the federal minimum wage in more than 10 years, while at the same time, corporate profits are skyrocketing through the roof. We're going to continue to stand up for working families, middle-class folks, senior citizens, the poor, the sick, the afflicted, and fight for the people.
And we'll talk about the minimum wage in just a moment here. But the fact that that audience was chanting what they were chanting in response to the president, does that show that perhaps his rhetoric is working or connecting with some voters?
In my view, at the end of the day, the goodness of the American people will be made clear next November. And I don't believe that they will support this type of individual who has continued to peddle destructive things that are ripping apart the civic fabric of this nation.
There are some Democrats inside your caucus who are concerned about how this has played out over the last week, and to an extent the Democratic response here. I want to read you something that my colleague Jake Tapper wrote. He says, "The president won this one," said House Dem, one of the Trump versus the Squad showdown. "What the president has done is politically brilliant. Pelosi was trying to marginalize these folks, and the president has now identified the entire party with them." What do you say to that concern that's coming from members of your own caucus?
Well, that appears to have been an anonymous contribution to the public discussion, so there's not really much for me to respond there.
Well, but there are 4 members who said that to Jake, and I don't doubt for a second that he talked to 4 members who said that to him. So let's take as a fact that they said it.
Well, let me simply say this. What we have seen is the president versus the American people, and his conduct is what is reckless. And it's because he is an ineffective individual. He is not getting the job done. His signature legislative accomplishment is to jam the GOP tax scam down the throats of the American people, where 83% of the benefits went to the wealthiest 1%. He doesn't want to talk about this. At this very moment, his administration is trying to strip away protections from more than 130 million Americans with pre-existing conditions. That was the issue of the midterm election. He doesn't want to talk about that. He doesn't want to talk about the fact that he has children in cages living in inhumane conditions on the U.S.-Mexico border. Our government, not any other government, not Iran, not Russia, not China, our government. And so he resorts to peddling this kind of rhetoric. But we are going to keep our focus on getting things done. That is the winning formula. And that's what unites the House Democrats.
And I hear you talking to me, trying to walk and chew gum at the same time. And this is the challenge for House Democrats. How do you respond to offensive things, racist things the president says, and also show the American people that you can legislate at the same time? Talk to me about this minimum wage bill today, what it does. And I do want to tell you what the CBO says. The Congressional Budget Office has said that while it could boost wages for well over 1 million people, it could also cost some jobs, 1 million jobs.
Well, we think it will result in boosting wages for tens of millions of Americans over time in a manner that will also be good for the economy, because when you put more money in the pockets of everyday Americans, you increase consumer demand. When you increase consumer demand, you increase spending. When you increase spending, you boost the economy. So that in and of itself is incredibly important, and that's why Democrats are leading the charge in this regard, fighting for the people, not for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. That's what the other side does. We don't have an unemployment challenge at the moment, but we have an underemployment challenge. We have a wage stagnation challenge. We believe every American deserves a living wage. We have a college affordability challenge. We have a retirement insecurity challenge. We've been working through these issues, and we will continue to do so.
Let me just put up on the screen, because I misquoted it slightly, about what the CBO says about this bill that you're putting up there. It would boost wages of 17 workers currently earning less than $15 an hour. I think we have this graphic. Another 10 million workers earning just above $15 an hour could see raises. 1.3 million fewer people with annual income below poverty threshold. But the median estimate is that 1.3 million others would become jobless. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, thank you for being with us.